The first time Oda Alanizi had to evacuate his Toronto high-rise, he couldn't.
I had to keep calling to try to get security. No one knew what to do, and I just waited for the alarm to stop. So I really felt, in that moment, I felt like my life had less value.
The incident inspired Alanizi to create this comic about a lack of an evacuation plan, which he posted online to raise awareness.
Many people messaged me, and I realized, how universal that experience is as well.
An experience the provincial government is supposed to be trying to prevent in its own buildings. In 2005, Ontario passed legislation aiming to make the entire province accessible by 2025. Progress on how it's being implemented is tracked through government-mandated reviews. The latest review from last year highlighted the lack of emergency response protocols for people with disabilities in provincial buildings and called it a crisis. There is often no way for some people with disabilities to safely evacuate a building, accessibility expert Rich Donovan wrote in his review. He recommended a crisis committee be formed within 30 days of the government tabling the report to come up with an evacuation plan and urged that plan be published within 180 days.
But according to records obtained by CBC Toronto through a Freedom of Information request, nearly a year and a half after the province received the report and 10 months after tabling it, a plan still hasn't been published.
What you don't hear is that this is a priority.
David Lepofsky chairs a group that keeps tabs on how the legislation is being implemented.
It's further proof of what an abysmal job they are doing with accessibility.
The province says it's taken a whole government approach to addressing accessibility. In response to the review, it says it's creating a volunteer group of people with disabilities to provide feedback on accessibility issues and is ensuring accessibility is embedded into government procurement, saying the ministry is now working to actively update and improve building evacuation for all provincial government-owned buildings to ensure the safe evacuation of people with disabilities. One long-term option on the table, designated evacuation elevators. Kate Welsh is a disability inclusion educator and artist. Welsh likes the idea of designated elevators as long as they remain safe.
You let people have autonomy. You let people, they don't need to necessarily have their chair carried and have them carried. Like, it's a lot more dignity.
The province is also looking at getting more evacuation chairs like this, which Alanizi used the second time he had to evacuate his building.
I think it's a great idea. It should be a part of the arsenal, a tool in the arsenal, and the fact that not every disability is the same, so it's not going to work for everybody.
Which is why advocates want people with disabilities and accessibility experts consulted when coming up with the plan.
To have our say, not only from a standpoint that we're listened to, but we're heard.
In hopes of ensuring everyone is safe and included. Angelina King, CBC News, Toronto.